What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best Shadowblight Necromancer build in Diablo 4 new season. This build is designed to shred enemies with the constant shadow damage procs, with the changes to the shadow damage and the core aspects for this key passive. This build finally allows you to mail through entire packs of enemies, with super quick overlapping shadow damage instances. And then to this we combine the Shadowblight, which is all about stacking the small hits. Every 8 instance of the shadow damage will trigger a massive proc that can critically strike, and the more shadow bonus damage you apply, the more you amplify the multiplier on the each proc. That means that hitting enemies with dozens of small damage sticks is more valuable than landing a single large one. The focus here is on the quantity over quality, and the faster that you can land those hits, the more devastating your Shadowblight becomes. The beauty of this build is that it's easy to use from the early game. You don't need rare or unique items to start making progress. Many of the best legendary aspects can be acquired from the Codex of the Power, and random drops will naturally push the build further as you progress. Your main goal is to stack as many damage increases as possible, while hitting as many enemies as possible simultaneously. Abilities like the Blight Corpse Explosion, combined with the Blight, will empower the Ebb and Pierce at the core of this strategy. The initial damage of each skill is almost irrelevant, but what matters is the sheer number of procs you will generate in the endgame. And remember, if you want to check this build, look up the best items, the skill trees and path of building, then check my link in the description. And before we continue, thanks to U4GM, they are a pro website that provides Diablo 4 services like cheap gold with fast delivery and pro carry runs, as well as unique and legendary items. They also have more than 17,000 comments on Trustpilot, and this website is really worth a try. So make sure to use my discount code KATE for extra 6% off. So, let's break down the skills that you will want to use for this build. The Shadowblight Necromancer is all about generating multiple overlapping damage instances, controlling enemy movement, and managing corpses efficiently. The Reap generates corpses while granting damage reduction and attack speed when used against enemies. Combine it into your rotation every few seconds to maintain both defensive buffs and a steady supply of corpses. Then Blight will leave behind the lingering AoV pull that amplifies all the damage enemies take by 10%, which stacks beautifully with the Corpse Explosion. Then the Corpse Explosion itself will apply the shadow damage over time to the enemies caught in the blast by triggering multiple damage multipliers. Timing this with a Blight ensures that the Shadow Blight procs constantly. Then Corpse Tendrils pulls enemies together, slowing and stunning them to maximize the AoV effectiveness. Then Soul Rift will generate essences, apply one ability and grant a damage buff. I recommend to keep the skill at 4 ranks to preserve your Imbiber multiplier and prevent potion generation. Then Decrepify slows enemies, reduces incoming damage, and resets cooldowns via the lucky hit mechanics. When paired with a Curse Aura, it spreads automatically, by giving you constant battlefield control. Then also we got the Book of Dead, and for this build we focus on maximizing the shadow damage with balancing survivability, sacrificing Reaper Warriors for the shadow damage and Iron Golem for the critical strike ensures that you're constantly enhancing your primary damage output. However, for players concerned about survival, especially on the hardcore, you can swap from the Golems to the Blood for maximum life, and Skeletal Warriors to the Defenders for resistance will provide a more defensive setup, without losing too much on offensive potential. Then next we got gear, which is crucial for turning the Shadowblight Necromancer into an endgame powerhouse. You want to focus on items that maximize the shadow damage instances, critical strike scaling and utility. Temper and Master War crit stats should be prioritized when possible, by keeping in mind to cap on armor, resistances and attack speed, and other stats based on your Paragon progress. Then Shroud of the False Dead boosts all passives, increasing both damage and utility. Then Hair of the Peridian ensures that you push towards 100% critical strike chance, while Eben Piercer, a Chaos unique, will add damage scaling, and capped movement speed via the Reaper's Pursuit. Other Chaos uniques that synergize well will include the Lindless Wall in the gloves or 80% weapon damage boost, then Fist of Fate in the pants for the multipliers, attack speed, lucky hit and the critical strike chance, and Eben Piercer in the boots to fully capitalize on the movement speed and additional multipliers. These items collectively empower your Shadowblight procs and keep you mobile across the battlefield. Next up we have runes, which is a key part of maximizing the Shadowblight's efficiency. You can slot up to 2 rune wards, each consisting of a ritual and invocation rune. The Shadowblight Necromancer's best setup is the Zen plus Hex, which ensures that every third cast of your ultimate will trigger the Zax by granting a permanent 112% damage bonus. Another core combo is Tam plus Watt, which automates the application of the Decrepify to the enemies. Alternative combinations like the Igni plus the Tool or the Cure plus Lam will help to generate essences passively, or apply additional oneable effects. And then for alternatives, the Mod, Zek and the Ku can further fine-tune the damage reduction, cooldown efficiency and the movement speed based on your preferences. Then next we got the Chaos perks. Erupting Chaos is a staple as it triggers additional Chaos bursts that apply that damage on top of your base attacks, which dramatically increases the number of shadow damage instances hitting your targets. Then Crazy Brew is another core perk by giving you a temporarily but powerful boost. So you get attack speed, movement speed and completely cost-free resources, which lets you chain kills together without interruption. Accelerating Chaos will further amplify your output, stacking damage and shaving off the cooldowns by keeping your rotation fluid and super fast. And then the crown jewel of this build is unique Chaos perk called the Altar of the Balance. This perk transforms your Shadowblight rotation entirely, allowing you to spam Soul Rift perpetually with up to 10 stacks, and multiplying every shadow damage tick across all enemies in range. With Alter the Balance active, your DPS potential will skyrocket, deleting every big group of enemies in seconds. These Chaos perks aren't just options, they're the backbone of the build, which gives the build its high-paced, high-impact playstyle, and enabling the explosive, crit-heavy shadow damage that makes the Necromancer so deadly. Then Gem setup is simple but effective. You wanna place rune wards in the weapons, then Topaz in the armor, and Skulls in the rings and the amulet. This ensures maximum shadow damage scaling while maintaining consistency across all the fights. Then next we have the skill tree, which is designed to amplify the shadow damage over time, while controlling the battlefield and maximize the corpse utility. Reap is your basic skill by generating corpses and providing damage reduction and attack speed for the constant safety net. Then Blight is your core skill, layering AoE shadow pulls that amplify all the damage enemies take by 10%, and synergize beautifully with the corpse explosion for the constant Shadowblight procs. Then Corpse Tendrils is again crucial for grouped up enemies, slowing and stunning them to maximize AoE effectiveness. Then Soul Rift drives the Shadowblight, generates essences, and applies Oneable, while Decrepify spreads automatically via the Curse Aura to slow enemies, reduce their damage and reset cooldowns. And for additional upgrades for the skill tree, we'll include enhancements to the shadow damage stacking, which improves each tick of the Blight and the Corpse explosions, and passive bonuses that reduce cooldowns and increase critical strike chance when certain thresholds of the corpses or the shadow damage instances are active. This ensures that even when managing multiple packs or high tier bosses, your damage output remains consistent and your procs will stay maximized. Then next we have the Paragon board, which is all about layering multiplicative shadow damage, maintaining vulnerable uptime and maximizing the corpse utility. As you progress, the board will emphasize Abyssal for the shadow damage amplification, then Imbiber for additional damage and survivability, and the Gravekeeper for feeding your corpse explosions and the tendril pulse. Leveling priorities are designed to maintain consistency, so by level 15 lock in 5 core glyphs like Essence, Exploit, Abyssal and Imbiber and the Gravekeeper. By level 46, fully maximize the Gravekeeper to first feed that constant corpse detonation, then refine Essence for resource flow, Imbiber for sustain, and Abyssal for the shadow damage scaling, and even the Exploit. This Paragon board is designed to deliver insane stacking damage while keeping your Necromancer durable in the Torment level dungeons and Infernal hordes. Additional nodes will emphasize cooldown reduction for the Soul Rift, extra corpses for the corpse explosion, and increased critical strike chance against oneable targets, which ensures both offense and survivability scale together seamlessly. Then next up we have Mercenaries that provide crucial support and versatility for this build. The hired Mercenary Alkin is ideal for generating the shadow damage, essentially by amplifying your Shadowblight procs across all targets. When Alkin's abilities integrate with your rotation, this will ensure insane DPS that doesn't dip during extended fights. And then for reinforcement, Raher is perfect for defensive utility. His Bastion ability will trigger when you take damage, by granting significant temporary damage reduction that can save your character in the high pressure situations, especially when pulling multiple elites with the Corpse Tendrils. The combination of the Alkin and the Ray will ensure that your offensive output remains high, while your defensive coverage keeps you alive in the dangerous fights. And now finally, let's see how to actually play this build. Our rotation revolves around maximizing the Shadowblight's procs. You don't need to care about single hit dot scaling. The key here is hitting enemies with as many small shadow damage instances as possible. So begin fights by casting in the Reap to generate your first corpses and gain the damage reduction. Position enemies inside the curse aura to automatically apply the Crepify, or manually cast it if the aura is not available yet. Then use corpse tendrils to pull enemies together. Drop the Blight pulse to apply the 10% damage multiplier, and then just spam the Soul Rift. Alter the balance will allow you to stack up to 10 Soul Rifts, which will greatly amplify the shadow damage. Then alternate corpse explosions with the Blight casts every couple of seconds, combining in skills into your rotation to ensure for maximum efficiency. Then against elites and bosses, maintain the Soul Rift stacking, manage corpses efficiently, and use the potions with the Crazy Brew to reduce cooldowns and maximize the Imbiber's bonuses. However, if you're in danger, then use the Blood Mist, reposition, generate a corpse, and cast corpse tendrils before re-engaging. So in short, following this rotation ensures that you get a crit heavy shadow damage across every fight in the endgame content with insane DPS numbers.